Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert to your own research. Okay, so I haven't done a video in a while. I was traveling before, and then Puerto Rico had a nasty hurricane. So my overall power and internet has been really inconsistent the last week or so. So yeah, I'll be doing more videos when I find more consistency in that regard. But today there's a little bit of time, so I will give a very quick market update. Okay, so today this is BTC USD on the 1 day. Overall, very choppy price action. We're seeing, especially the last 7 days or so, we're seeing these crazy wicks in both directions. Usually on September 19th, you'll see a candle similar to this, and this usually will mark some sort of bottom, but as evidence has shown, this has not been the bottom. But crazy price action. It's very, very choppy in both directions. No very clear trend, in my opinion, in the last 7 days. So what are we looking at right now? We are looking at, in my opinion, still a overall range with two significant levels that are here left to the on the downside, 17.6k and then around 18k or so. These two wicks would be the next areas up if the current area breaks down, and the current daily close back in the breakdown in June 19th. This has also been an important level. If you look to see this 1 day close, this has proven to be support all throughout July and mid-July, as well as this area being support as well back in early September. And we're currently seeing a lot of interaction right now with that current level. So, there are a lot of smaller wicks below that. For instance, this wick right here, this wick back in June 30th of 2022. This area has been, sorry, I need to do my magnet. This area was a area of support as well. If you look back in September 7th. And again, similar to right now, it's just a lot of interaction with that level. Unless you're a very precise low time frame trader, I wouldn't really think too hard, in my opinion, on these wicks. These wicks are all going to provide some support. If you looked back at this entire consolidation back in June and July, there are all these wicks that provided support at one point during this current price action. But I would more contextualize this area for most traders, swing traders especially, as just an overall area of support. So you can probably just denote this kind of green box, and how I use this daily close here on June 19th, and this wick down established on June 30th. This area can just be usually contextualized as overall support. And in my opinion, the next areas that you would look for after a breakdown here would be 18k and then also 17.5k. Back in June, I strongly felt that this wick would get taken out eventually. I just didn't know what or when this would happen. I still feel that's probably likely. Don't know, again, when or what it's going to look like at that time, but I do feel that this wick will probably get taken out eventually. But who knows? I can't say that with absolute certainty. There's no certainty in the market. It's just kind of an idea that I had. But it just seems like there's too much liquidity down below to not take those lows out. You would think there's just a lot of buys below. But again, Bitcoin is really just at the mercy of larger forces at play right now. Macro forces and forex, and just too many things to really consider when you're thinking about the bottom. It's very hard to actually contextualize what the quote-unquote bottom is. So yeah, don't really know. What is this looking like on the lower time frames? Well, I guess let me just finish up here. On the daily, this is still bearish in my opinion. Still lower lows and lower highs. nothing about this really screams bullish at all to me. You can maybe make arguments that price is absorbing all of these sells here, but to me it just looks like smaller bounces at this demand zone. From this 18.5k area to 19k, it just seems like smaller and smaller bounces, and this consolidation overall it doesn't really seem great. With that said, it is possible that price will squeeze up to this 20k area before potentially dumping again. I know a lot of my friends have this idea too, where price could dump around, pump to around this low 20k area. This swing high here around 20.4k. This was an interesting area of resistance. As you can see, price really couldn't break above that level over a several day period, really it hasn't been able to close above that level, from late August all the way to kind of earlyish mid-September, where price broke above it, had a massive nasty candle down, and now price obviously couldn't get back up to that level. So it is proving to be a interesting resistance area, at least in the past. And there are some ideas where price can squeeze up to this low 20k area and then potentially go lower. So maybe we'd see something like this, and then price would just break down to those lows. That's certainly a possibility. Again, don't know quite what it's going to look like. Don't know if this is even going to happen, but as I said, it's just very unclear to me personally. What am I looking at on the lower time frames? As I said, it's very choppy price action on the lower time frames. If you're trading this and scalping, you should hopefully have a lot of experience. Otherwise, it's just nasty wicks in both directions. What are we looking at here on lower time frame charts? EMAs are clearly bearish. Price is below all of them. We are seeing some interactions with some of them. Kind of this low 20k area, there is confluence with this 200 EMA on the 4-hour. So what we could see is price squeezing up here, price going up to this low 20k area and then potentially dumping lower. That's potentially an idea that you can take for a trade, i.e. shorting probably around 20k, and then seeing the reaction there. Again, don't really have great. I don't really have a great idea of where price is headed really in the midterm. It just seems, or even any time frame, to be frank and honest with you, it just seems very, very choppy and not very clear to me personally. There are going to be some trades that you can take, i.e. XRP just pumped a lot the last several days. You're just going to take these 10% moves all day long or more in these current market conditions. Everything else is just very choppy or just dead if you look at most of the altcoin market. So again, don't really have any great ideas. I am leaning more towards the idea that this goes up to low 20Ks before potentially dumping more. And I do still have the idea that this is going to take out the 17.5K area. I just don't know when it's going to happen. What I would do, what am I doing if I'm changing my bias in that regard for the 17.5K area getting taken out, is if we continually see this continue just chop around, or if we see maybe this grinds up to who knows how high it'll squeeze and then massive dump after that. You generally see a lot of volatility at the bottom, and we did see a lot of that here back in June and July. But how I would start changing my bias is if we see some sort of big shakeout. Again, don't know what it's going to look like. If this does squeeze up and then we see a big shakeout from 20K to 17.5K, at that point I would consider this maybe just being the bottom, something like this where we just consolidate for a while and then just move up, and this would form some sort of a double bottom on higher time frame charts. Maybe that's potentially a bottom formation, but if you look back at older charts back in 2018 and earlier, it really takes a long time for price to form a bottom. So I don't really think that you need to rush into this personally. I think it's going to take a while for price to recover and and it'll take some time. I don't know any it's really, as I said, going to depend on macro. I don't think that you can really use lines on a chart in terms of tracking this type of stuff. So in summation, I don't really have a great idea where Bitcoin is headed on lower or mid or high time frame charts at all. I think that this is going to go a little higher, maybe 20K before potentially dumping. If that happens, altcoins will maybe have like a few moves, but overall, like, it's still, in my opinion, not the bottom. Okay, so let's briefly look at Ethereum here. Ethereum also is, I marked this level 2, this 17.3K area. It's an interesting area. It's as you can see here, it's acted as support several days all throughout the June, July, 2021 period, consolidation period in the summer. Acted as support again in May, and then it dumped. It dumped through, and now it acted as resistance several times. This 3-day chart, in my opinion, is pretty clear, and price never could close above it. So that's, this was a logical area for pulling back. Price is now currently at this consolidation area around this like 1200 area, and this should act as support, in my opinion. This was like this last big consolidation period before the run up, and this is this was a very news/event oriented move, in my opinion. Going from 1K to 2K, the merge news was a really solid event, in my opinion. But now price is pulling back, and it's now currently at support. So what are we looking at here? Like, to me, the ETH chart is a lot more clear than the BTC chart. We might see something like this where price has like some sort of double bottom. This would, in my opinion, be some sort of potential reversal. But again, it's too early to really tell what the bottom is going to look like, in my opinion. And this would be one potential bottom personally, but not really going to make any long-term predictions. From a midterm standpoint, it does look like this should be support. Anywhere from this 1,000 to 1,200 area, this should be a decent support. So, wouldn't surprise me to see price shop around in that area before forming a bottom and then potentially moving higher. Don't know how high it's going to go. Again, there are levels such as this 1,400 level. This is an interesting level, as well as 1,700 again. But these are some levels that you would look at. And it's really, in my opinion, still dependent on Bitcoin. I know that ETH led the market a lot the last several weeks, but in my opinion, Bitcoin is still going to lead the market in this next little cycle. So fairly unclear to me, but I do believe this current area all the way down to $1,000 is support. So those are kind of some overall quick thoughts. Thanks for watching. Please keep Puerto Rico in your thoughts, guys, and see you guys soon.